Zombie apocalypse.
Hey guys, welcome to another Top Drives video, and today we're going to be looking at 14.8 and all the speculation revolving around it. So I am going to split this video up into three parts. First part will be cars I would like to see change RQ and potentially rarity. Then it's going to be cars that probably really need to change RQ and rarity. And then ones that are most likely to happen. Now, of course, Hutch haven't released the official information for this yet. We're probably a couple of weeks off. So, of course, like I said, everything here is speculation, but there's a lot of stuff going around on the Facebook group, on the Discord channels, and stuff like that. So let's see what we think, or what I personally think, is going to change. And of course, you guys might not agree with some of my choices here. You might wholeheartedly agree with some of my choices here. And of course, there might be cars that I'm missing. Now, guys, please do drop a like and smash that subscribe button. You can also now join me on my Discord server. The link is down below in the description, and I have also set up a Patreon. I wasn't going to do it, but I've been, a few people have said I should do it. It's £1 a month if you wish to join and support me, just show me a little bit of support for all the videos I've made. There will be a little bit of extra content on there, not quite yet, but if you do wish to join me, then I very much would appreciate it. The link is also down below in the description. So let's get on with this. Okay, so I first of all want to start with the RQ66 Lancer Evo 8. Now, there is a lot of speculation in regards to the Evos actually all going up in RQ, and we'll come across that later, but I think this one needs to actually go down in RQ. It loses to the RQ63 in pretty much everything. Then I want to say the Subaru Impreza WRX STI. The Subarus in this game are trash, and there is a lot here in my list. The campaign car by far is, for me, one of the worst epics in the game. I think it needs to go down to an ultra rare. I really do think it needs to go down to an ultra rare. I think it's shocking. It really is. Now the next one is the Jaguar F-Type rally car. Now this obviously is only going to affect the people with it as a prize car. But guys, this loses to every ultra rare almost rally car. I'm not talking like the RQ51s and 52 low level Opel Adams and stuff like that, but it loses to the Ford Escorts. It loses to the Lancia 037. Its only saving grace is top end speed and MRA, and guys, that isn't everything. Unfortunately, that isn't everything in the game, and I think it needs to be demoted to an ultra rare and actually give us a reason to upgrade it. The next one on my list is this absolute shocker. I hate this thing, but I can't bring myself to part ways with it anymore, simply because of the horror show challenge. You never know when you're going to need something like this. It loses to everything off-road. It's not even got good MRA. It's not good top speed. The only thing it's good at is motocross track and hill climb, and there is much better cars for them as well. RQ65, it just needs to go. It needs to be dropped down to around a 55 or 56, I would say, if not lower. Someone did make a suggestion saying it should be a super rare. Bit drastic maybe, but who knows. Next on my list I'd like to see change is the 640i. We all know this got hugely nerfed in the last update. So unless they are going to give it a huge buff again, and actually make it legendary worthy, it needs to drop, because it gets beaten by every four-wheel drive epic pretty much. And again, MRA isn't everything in the game. It's just a pants car. The Bentley Continental Jet Team Series Limited Edition. It's a bit of a mouthful. RQ81. No, it probably could be a lot better. It's one of them cars that will never really get a lot of love, because it is it's a very low legendary. It's got rubbish MRA. It loses to the epic Bentleys. It needs to move down to an epic. I can't even see why it is a legendary, to be fair. The next on my list would be the Lancia Stratos HF Group 4. It's an absolute fantastic car in real life, of course. It's got good MRA in the game, but even if you were to compare it against the Jaguar that was just before at RQ65, that's also got good MRA, but it will beat this. It will beat it pretty much everywhere. And that's saying something, because that loses everywhere, even maxed. So yeah, it needs to take either a nerf down to ultra, give people a reason to actually want to build it, and maybe swap places with the 037, but we'll talk about the 037 later. And my sort of final car that I'd like to see change is the Audi S1, and I'm not saying it needs to change rarity. I think it's fine as an ultra rare. I just think the RQ is far too high for this car. Like I said, there isn't much I'd like to see change. I think a lot of the cars are pretty well placed. I certainly don't want to see the Evo 4 move. I think it's going to, but I certainly don't want to see that, and I certainly don't want to see the Lancia 037 move. That's why they're not on my list of cars that I would like to see change. Okay, so cars that need to change. Now these first four cars are all very poor Subarus, all RQ65, all very similar stats, and all of them are just toss. They need to change. So they all need to drop down to an ultra, and maybe separated the stats a little bit. Couple more epic Subarus next. We've got the Levorg STI Sportswagen. Again, it's just another poor Subaru. Now, maybe if this had standard tyres, just like the other Levorgs, then yeah, okay, it might be epic worthy. But then, of course, it probably wouldn't have as much handling. I just feel that it needs to change. Another Subaru Impreza, again, 67. It's just awful. It doesn't warrant its position at 67. There's not much I can really say about that, but I think it needs to move down to ultra. The RQ65 Mercedes-Benz. This is a car that has been made key in a Tri-Series final, and it is poor at best. Four-wheel drive standard tyres, it gets smashed by RQ63s and RQ64s, even maxed. It gets smashed all over the place. It's got a little bit good MRA, but that's, again, not everything. The Maserati 250F. Now, again, this was released as a prize car, and when it was released, it was a lot higher. I think it was around a 73 or a 74. I can't quite remember. It's been a while. Now, this has got good MRA, but that's its only thing. It's one of them cars you very, very seldomly see maxed. Very, very rarely used, and I don't think it warrants being an RQ66. I think an ultra rare prize car would work much better. It would give people incentive to max it and actually use it. Now, the RQ65 BMW i35i, the Mercedes-Benz SL 500, and the Volvo 860R all-wheel. Three cars, again, I would think need to drop down to ultra. These are the sort of cars that no one maxes because they're just so poor as an epic, but would be slightly better as an ultra. That's just my 2 cents on them three cars. I think they need to move. And if you've noticed, obviously a lot of these cars are low level epics, and that's just because they are just so poor. The next one, I think the Caterham SCR is going to move up in RQ, not rarity. I think it's just going to move up in RQ. At 72, it beats a lot of cars much higher. That's because it's crazy 0 to 60 and it's high handling. It's a very good car. I think it's just going to move up in RQ though, and I don't think that is going to change rarity. We'll have a quick look at some more legendaries here that I think, again, the M850i moved from epic about a year and a half ago, if not longer, up to legendary. It's a very poor legendary, guys, even maxed, because people obviously had it maxed when it was epic and moved up. It needs to move back down, I think, and even, yeah, it's just not a great car at all. The Diablo 6 litre, again, I think this needs to move down to an epic position, because it's just, even with its four-wheel drive, it's just not a fantastic car. And again, it's just a very, very seldomly used legendary for players, and no real need for it to be legendary. That's where I sit with that one. These next three are Bentleys, and they have been suggested to me to put in the video. I don't actually have any of these three Bentleys. So first of all, we've got the Continental GT, the GT Convertible number 1 edition by Mulliner, and the Continental Super Sports. Now, I've been told that all three of these are poor at best. Certainly for legendary status, they haven't got fantastic MRA, and there's no kind of real use for them in the game. They're just there. That's kind of like another collection of cars that we've got the very poor Subarus, all with very similar stats, and we've got all the Bentleys with very similar stats. The Bentleys weigh as much as the tank, so they don't really, they're not great at anything, or they're not bad at everything, but they're not great at everything either. So they are certainly three more cars that I feel that should change. And of course, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. If you feel that any of these cars, you know, shouldn't change, let me know. This is all speculative, like I've said, and nothing is solid until Hutch have released the patch notes. What we'll do now, though, is we'll move over to cars that are likely to change. So we are going to talk about the cars that are very likely to change, and we're going to start with some big boys, and it is going to be the 84 Megane. I think this is going to move up to Legendary. And Hutch, of course, have confirmed that if you have maxed cars that move Rarity, you will then get tokens. So, for example, take this. If you've got a maxed McGann trophy, you will then get a stock Legendary one, and the upgrades you had in it will then be able to be moved to another epic. I think if some of these cars do change up to Legendary, it's really going to upset the balance of the game in regards to the way the players play. I think it's going to piss a lot of people off. Just to put it bluntly, it's going to annoy a lot of people. I know for a fact that if I lose my epic banana, if I lose my maxed epic banana, I'm not going to touch it. When it goes Legendary, I'm not going to touch it at all, unless it becomes a key car in a final. That will just end up being a stock Legendary that I'll probably never use again. So the banana, I think I don't need to say more about that. And the Caterham Superlight, I think this is going to go to a Legendary as well, guys. And again, I think it's going to upset a lot of players. Now, the Audi S8 Plus, I think this actually needs to drop in RQ, not drop Rarity at all, no, but drop RQ. I think it needs to take a hit. It's not as good as Hutch make it out. It's got MRA, which is poor. It used to be, if it was medium ride height, then I'd say keep it as that. So, unless they make it medium ride height, it needs to drop in RQ. Now, unfortunately, I believe that Hutch have said that all the Evos are going to change. I am trying to get the information on that, because apparently it happened in Discord. I don't actually know, but I think the Evo 10 and the Evo 9 are probably going to fire up to Legendary status, and again, it'll be one of them cars that I won't ever touch again. The Mazda Fiore, I think that again is going to go up to Legendary. I just think that's what they're going to do with it. I hope not, of course, because for me, I've already shared 5 epics that I'm going to lose. Because I've got 2 of the Evos, and I've got a Fiore, and I've got a couple of bananas. So yeah, I'm going to lose all them if that happens. The next one I think is the Copper Camaro. Now, of course, this doesn't affect anyone at the moment because it is, it's not been released. I just think they're going to move it up to Legendary. We did see it in a challenge not long ago, and it was awesome. The next one is the Infiniti Emerge E. Now, I don't think this is going to change Rarity. I think it's just going to take a big RQ jump up towards 75 or 76. It's super quick. It's nimble. It's fantastic. I just think it's going to go up in RQ. Same for the 208 T16 R5. I had to swim for that one. I think that is going to go up in RQ, just because it's got 100 handling, and it's a proper nimble little thing. Next will be the other Peugeot, the 207 S2000. I think that is also just going to jump up in RQ a little bit. Now, there has been talks of this Nissan prize car. Now, this is the prize car that's due to be released for July's Veterans Challenge. We will have 6 tokens if you're up to date, and this is the car that is to be released. There has been talk on Discord, again, that this is moving down to Ultra. Now, of course, again, it's all speculation. I can't say anything, but if that's the case, then it kind of takes the piss a little bit, because we're playing for an ultra rare prize car. Let's see what happens. The Chevrolet Mirage needs to move up in RQ. 4-wheel drive, it's got 95 handling maxed. It's a nimble little thing, certainly in the wet. So yeah, I think that needs to move up. The 306 Maxi again, I think needs to move up RQ, not rarity. Just again, another super quick. If you compare it to the other 65 cars in the game, the other RQ65, this just beats them in pretty much everything. I think it's only that low because it's slick and front wheel drive, but I think it needs to move up in RQ. The next one is the Grand Punto S2000. Guys, I think this is going to move to Legendary. The only reason it's not Legendary at the moment, I think, is because of its top speed, but it's killer. It's a city streets killer, and it beats pretty much everything it comes across, and I love this car, and I would not like to see it go Legendary. Not at all. Okay, so let's move on to some Ultras. Now, the Abarth 030, lots of talk about this going up to Epic. It very well could. I don't see why not. I would imagine it's a low Epic though, 65, 66, 67 maybe. A car that then is going to get killed because no one will max it again. Now, everyone's favourite one to not go up to Epic, because no one wants it to go up to Epic, of course. The Colorado ZR2. I have personally got 4 of these, and if it goes up to Epic, it's going to be very hard to bring myself to max it again. I think if it was go up to Epic, it needs a buff. That's how I feel. But I can see it happening. Okay, so the Lancia 037 Rally, I did say we'd come back to this. This is one of those hugely overpowered super rares, not super rares, it's an ultra rare, sorry. It's one of these super overpowered ultra rares that everyone complains about if you haven't got one, and everyone loves if you have got one. If it goes up to Epic, again, it's just going to be one of them. Are you going to want to max it again? Are you going to want to spend 15 ultra rares to max essentially what was an ultra rare? I don't know, guys. I don't know. The next one, Subaru Legacy BW, 4-wheel drive standard tyres. It is the best ultra rare standard tyre car in the game, and I just think that they're going to push it up there. I think they're going to make it epic. I think also the Golf GTI TCR, I think that might get pushed up a little bit too. I think that's going to become an epic. I think personally it probably needs a little bit more speed and a little bit more handling. It is a touring car after all. So yeah, I think it needs to have a buff. Now, I think the Lotus 340R might just move up in RQ. I don't think it will move up in rarity at all. I just think it's got a little bit more weight to it than an RQ59. Now, cars to go down, just a couple of cars I think might go down. The Nissan Pulsar Concept Nismo. Now, of course, guys, there probably is a few more cars that need to go down, but some of these cars just don't ever get used, and I think this Nissan is one that would get used. You know, there's a couple of Mitsubishis, off-roaders and stuff like that are all sitting very low RQ50. I think a lot of them might just have a move around and go down to super rare, but this is the one I've picked out. This and the Subaru Baja Turbo. That used to be a super rare. I think it deserves to be a super rare again. That's just my 2 cents on them two there. Now, I think the Dodge Charger 3 and the Dodge Charger Daytona might just go up in RQ. I don't think they're going to go up to Epic. That would be too much of a jump, but I think they will move up in RQ. I think that they've got too much weight to be so low in the ultra rare. These are the ones that you go to because they are very good low level ultra rares, certainly for clubs and stuff like that. So I think they might move up just a bit of RQ. Now the next two are our super twisty low level ultra rares, and we've got the Citra. No, it's not a Citroen. I read Dodge Circuit. I read Circuit instead of Citroen. Citroen instead of Circuit even. Right, so yeah, I think the Circuit EV and the Desire are both going to get an RQ buff. I think they're going to go up slightly. I think again these two are more weighted than to be a 53 and a 55. I think they're around the 59 and 60 marks. That's because they are super light, they're electric, they're nimble, they're quick, and high twisty stats. I think that's where they're going. Now, my final ultra rare is the Evo 4, everyone's other favourite car that no one wants to see go up. I think it's going to Epic, guys. And I don't think we're going to be able to stop this. It's going to be one of them cars that when it goes Epic again, are you going to want to max it? Probably not. Probably not, guys. But we know how good it is. Just its top speed lets it down. So my last few cars are super rares. And we've got the Lotus Elise Sprint. We've got the 370ZX Twin Turbo, the Renault Clio Cup Car, and the Nissan Cherry Coupe. All four of these are probably a bit too OP to be super rare. They're going to be, if they do get moved up, they're going to be low ultra rares. But I think that's just what they'll do with them. Now, of course, guys, like I've said previously, this is all complete and utter speculation. Until Hutch decide to release that list, we can only discuss it. But if you like my suggestions here or dislike my suggestions here, please let me know. We're just going to have to wait and see. And yeah, until then, guys, keep earning that cash, saving that gold. Good luck with the rough finals, because it's the worst ever finals for me. But that's it, guys. Yeah, don't forget to check the links below in the description. Drop a comment, smash that like button and that subscribe button, and I will see you next time for another Top Drive video. Take care. Bye bye.